This has been a big year of experimentation for me, and last month I was playing with the idea of having a no scroll month. I was doing this for a few reasons. I am fairly new to the YouTube Shorts world. They have me down to a T. That algorithm knows exactly how to suck me in, and before I know it, it is an hour later and I'm a week behind on my YouTube channel. So for me, it wasn't about completely being off my phone or completely being off social media. It was about avoiding some known traps, especially when you get sucked into that algorithm that knows you way too well. This is why I was super excited when about 3 weeks into my journey, RISEGuide reached out to me to see if I'd be interested in reviewing their app. They described it to me as a self-improvement app built around structured, bite-sized learning journeys grounded in expert insight. I was intrigued. I was really curious about it because around the second or third week of my no scroll, I was experiencing what I started to call the twitch, which is how I was finding myself randomly clicking in and then quickly out of apps that I was trying to avoid. As a behavioral scientist, I know that this meant that I am deep in the habit loop where my phone is the trigger and my response is to click on an app and scroll. As someone who started their career focused on extinguishing behaviors, I know that one of the best strategies to stop doing something that you're trying to do less of is actually to replace that behavior with something that you're trying to do more of or some sort of behavioral replacement. That's where something like the RISEGuide could potentially be helpful, given that adults are spending upwards of 5 hours a day on their phone, and a lot of that is passive consumption. So if there was a way that I could do something more active while still being able to get that little hit of dopamine, that was definitely something that I was interested in exploring. And that's where RISEGuide came in. Instead of fighting against that urge, I decided to roll with the urge and replace it with these bite-sized learning opportunities. According to the developers, the Rise app is supposed to improve your critical thinking, your decision making, your confidence, or your communication skills. And that or is pretty important because the first thing that you have to do is log into the app. And after you fill in your usual information and do your usual run of the mill login, the app is going to ask you what journey you are on. Some of the options are boosting your memory, beating procrastination, learning how to process information, learning new information faster, or boosting your productivity. Then it's going to ask you a series of questions to help build your profile. It asks questions like how easily distracted are you? When do you tend to procrastinate? After it builds your profile, it asks you questions on the particular challenges that you're facing, as well as what you're trying to get out of the app, the specific goals, and the thought leaders that you might typically follow. I told the app that I wanted to spend about 15 minutes a day towards self-improvement, and after I was done with the login process, it set up my first 15-minute lesson. This general structure works out pretty well if you're not ready to devote long periods of time to long-form content, you only have a few minutes to spare, and you're looking to devote short windows of time toward self-improvement or self-development. I found that my first 15-minute lesson went by pretty quickly, but not in the same way that I lose 15 minutes of time scrolling. These 15 minutes were a lot more engaging because I was jumping through different forms of knowledge acquisition. So in some areas, there were short reading assignments like this one that I completed on the benefits of spaced repetition, but that was interspersed with other interactive activities and videos. Before I knew it, my 15 minutes was up and I felt like it was just enough time to reacquaint myself with some of the topics that I have learned before and some of the topics that I haven't interacted with in some time. My favorite part of the app was the AI-powered question tool because I am someone who loves consuming video content. You can put in a specific question like, what is the best way to know how much sleep you need? And the output was pretty cool. It gave me a list of videos from curated experts, and it told me exactly what part of the video is going to answer my specific question. If you don't want to go through all the videos, it also gives you a nice AI summary that gives you a gist of what's covered in the videos. And something that spoke right to my heart, right below the general summary, was a more in-depth summary. The output reminded me of something more similar to what I would get on an app like Consensus or Elicit, where they're bringing together peer-reviewed journals to answer a specific question. But instead of being a more academic output like you'd get in those apps, this is fully centered around around self-improvement. Kind of like what we do here on this channel, taking the science and the data and bringing that down to actionable, practical advice. Let's talk about some other exercises that I really liked within the app. There were some fun old school activities like card matching to help improve your memory. And on the other end of the spectrum, there were some high tech exercises that were powered by AI. So when I was looking at a module in improving my communication, I was given a scenario, and the scenario went something like, here's the situation. Your task is to keep the banter going. And then I actually tried to keep the banter going for 30 seconds, and I was given feedback on my general communication style. I tend to struggle with small talk, so this was an exercise that I found particularly helpful. And I find that I've actually been getting a little better at small talk and things like keeping the conversation going. Another thing that I struggle with is attaching names to faces. I tend to get really excited when I'm talking to people in real life, and sometimes I forget some basic information like their name. I'm more likely to remember things like what you do or some common interests that we have. So it was really fun to do some exercises around learning people's names. One of the things that I would love to see expanded on this app is the ability to do those types of exercises with non-famous people. They used people that you might know if you're familiar with the self-help space as a way of testing your name recognition and being able to connect a name with a face. I would love this to be expanded to like an AI fake person with a name that you might not recognize as readily. And that might be more realistic at helping you strengthen that connection between learning a new person's face and learning their name. There is one more thing that I would love to see improved within the RISEGuide app. Here at the very top, you're going to see some flames, and that is similar to something that you might see in other apps where you're encouraged to come back on a daily basis. And this strategy is based on solid behavioral science in the area of behavioral monitoring. When we're trying to increase a behavior, doing things like keeping a hot streak is really motivating to people. And I know that I've experienced this when I've used other apps. So I was experimenting with the app for about a week. And then there was one day where I didn't sign on and my streak was completely reset. So I would love to see the app develop some sort of systems that are motivating rather than demotivating. So something like a streak freeze or the ability to be able to earn back some of that time by doing or engaging in some activities might be particularly helpful and more consistent with what we know about behavior change and trying to sustain a new habit. I loved the user experience. It seemed modern and easy to navigate. The onboarding was pretty intuitive and frictionless. And we know that we don't want any additional cognitive load when we are trying to start a new habit or engage in new learning. So anything that makes it easier for us to get started is going to increase the likelihood that we're actually going to do the thing. If you're actively trying to get into the habit of finding some dedicated time for self-improvement, the user interface makes it easy to do so. Now, the whole reason I was interested in reviewing this app is because I was looking for ways to stop the scroll. And I find that in this area, I have mixed feelings. When I logged into RiseGuide for my first 15-minute lesson, I actually stood in the app for 27 minutes. So, on the one hand, it was engaging enough for me to stay on the app and learn a little bit more. On the other hand, it is contributing to my increased screen time. Now, something to consider is whether or not all 27 minutes spent on your phone are equal. Is 27 minutes scrolling on Instagram or potentially consuming more than you'd like? Is that equal to spending 27 minutes on learning? For me, it did fill some of that time that I was trying to avoid, especially times where the habit is really deeply ingrained. For me, that's times when I am brushing my teeth, when I'm waiting online in the grocery store. So I didn't find that it increased my overall screen time. It simply replaced other types of scrolling. One of the ways that the Rise Guide differs from the endless scrolling that I was trying to avoid is that concept of the endless scroll. Within this app, the learning and the content is confined to small, digestible segments. This is consistent with what we know about attention and capacity, so keeping it really manageable is helpful. And there's also an end to it. You can choose to continue, but there's a natural end to what you're working on. And that gives you an opportunity to break away from your phone. So you learn a little bit, you get in, you get out. The end of a lesson creates a natural breaking point, which is markedly different from the infinite scroll. I also like that it included a breadth of well known thought leaders, including authors, scientists, YouTubers, people like Shane Parrish, James Clear, Vanessa Von Edwards, all brought together under one app. Now that I've discussed all the things that I liked about the app, let's talk about some limitations as well as who might benefit the most from an app like this. If you're new to the self-help journey, I think that there is a lot of breadth of information held within the app. If you're someone who's kind of lived in the space, I think that the current depth of information might make it difficult for you to find something truly new. This app helps to bring disparate ideas together, and I do like the way that it identifies thought leaders from such a variety of places, where it synthesizes it in a way that might have a new perspective, or you might be able to see where there's overlap between different concepts and theories. One of my favorite parts of the app is being able to use that AI search engine. And one of the things that it does is pull up videos and tells you the exact location where your question is answered within the video. Now, this is something that I've played with on Google as well. More and more often, I am getting a video response to Google queries, but this is slightly different because it's already from a curated list. That saves you from having to wade through some of these videos because the app has already curated the selection for you. This app might also be good for people that are beginners or intermediate in their self-improvement journey. It could serve as an introduction to new theories and could also broaden your exposure to new people and frameworks within the self-help space. The way that it organizes and delivers the content might be one of the better benefits, not necessarily the presentation of totally novel ideas. Finally, if you're someone that gets distracted by combing through YouTube or looking for a new person to follow on Instagram, this app could provide a structured, guided learning path to keep you on track. It was also really fun to engage in all the different types of exercises, and that's consistent with what we know about an adult learning model, where it might not be as effective for an adult to hear an hour-long lecture or read a full chapter in a book, and it might be more effective to engage in a series of varied interactive activities that might help you to encode some of these lessons for long-term learning and short-term usage. I hope you enjoyed my review of the RISEGuide app. Let me know if you like these kind of reviews, and if there's any other app that you'd like me to review, leave it in the comment section down below. I would love to explore some other options with you this year. And if you're interested in more information about the RISEGuide app, I'm going to leave that linked down below.